This is where we talk real, no filters, no cap. Straight to the top and we never look back. This is where we talk real, no filters, no cap. Straight to the top and we never look back. Leaders in the building, money on the mind. Leveling up daily, leaving limits behind. Pull up, tune in, it's time to get it done. The Millionaire Nurse Podcast has officially begun. Let's go. Tune in every week.
Welcome back to part 2. What if the thing that you were most afraid of was the actual framework, the blueprint? Most people spend their whole life trying to avoid the hard parts, the complicated family, the blended household, the business that doesn't fit neatly into a box, the marriage that required more work than the fairy tale promise. But what if those weren't the obstacles? What if they were actually the architecture? Welcome back to the Millionaire Nurse CEO podcast. I'm Dr. V, nurse, entrepreneur, wife, GG, real estate investor, and someone who has learned that the most powerful thing that you can build is a life that actually belongs to you. I am your host, Doctor of Nursing Practice, CEO of VP Nursing, certified speaker, coach, and trainer, host of the Millionaire Nurse CEO podcast. And if you did not listen to part 1 of this conversation, start right now and go back. Because what I shared in that episode is the foundation for everything I'm about to hand you today. And if you did listen, then you already know I left you with a promise. I told you that I had a framework, one that holds the marriage, the family, the business, the real estate, the legacy, all of it in a single structure that you can actually use. Today, I'm delivering on that full promise. I call it the blend framework. And yes, I choose that word on purpose because the thing Aura and I were most afraid of, the blend, became the name of the framework. We use it to build everything. Let's get into it. The first part of the blend framework is believe. Before you build a blended family or the blended business, you have to believe that the vision works before the evidence shows up. When Aura and I started with 1 grandchild and 5 children and a prayer and a whole lot of blend fear, we believed. We did not have proof, we had a commitment. Your business needs the same thing. The portfolio life requires you to believe in the return before the return is in your account. The client contract requires you to believe in your value before the client confirms it. The framework requires you to trust the structure before you see the results. Believe first, evidence follows. Action proves it. Because here's what I know after over 30 years in nursing and over 6 years in building a business and a lifetime of building a family that should not have worked on paper, but works beautifully in real life. The blend was never the problem, the doubt was. And the moment Aura and I stopped waiting for proof and start walking in purpose, everything changed. The business grew, the family healed, the portfolio expanded, the legacy took shape. That is not a motivational speech, that is testimony. And the word says it best. It's the Bible, not me. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. That's Hebrews 11:1. You already have the substance, now do the work. And hey, before we go any further, if you are watching or listening and you're getting something out of this episode, go ahead, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment. Tell me, who is your Aura? Who is the person in your corner who has never asked you to be less? Drop their names in the comments. I read every single one. The L in the blend framework is legacy. Some people look at a blended family and see a reason why they can't. 5 children, 8 grandchildren. People will use a family that size as an excuse to stay small, to stay safe, to wait. Or I use it as a reason to build. Because legacy is not what you leave behind when you die. Legacy is what you model while you're alive. It is the result of a decade of choosing the harder, better decisions over the easier, comfortable ones. Over and over and over again, until the life you are building becomes the life your family inherits. And I don't mean financially, although yes, we are building that too. I mean relationally, spiritually, professionally. Our son OJ is my photographer. Not because I offered him the highest rate, not because he didn't have any other options, but because I built something worth capturing. I built a legacy compelling enough that our own child wanted to be a part of it. That is not something you can manufacture. That is something you have to earn, decision by decision, year by year. That is what legacy actually looks like. So let me ask you something, and I need you to sit with this question. What are you building that your grandchildren would be proud of? Let that question change every business decision you make, every contract you walk away from, every rate you refuse to lower, every morning you show up even when it's hard. They are watching, and one day they will either inherit the fruit of your courage or the weight of your hesitation. E stands for evolve. The family that blended 10 years ago looks different from the family that we are today. We started with one grandchild. We have 8 now, plus a bonus daughter and a bonus grandson, who are ours completely. That evolution is not chaos, it is growth, and your business is the same. The offer you had in year 1 is not the offer you need today. The CEO that you were when you started is not the CEO you are becoming. Evolve on purpose without apology. N stands for navigate. You do not drift into a great marriage. You do not drift into a great real estate portfolio. You do not drift into a 7-figure business. Navigation is intentional, or I navigate with honest conversations, with prayer, with a shared vision of what we are building and why. We course correct when we need to. We stay in the same direction even when the road changes. Navigate your business the same way. Know where you're going. Keep your hands on the wheel. And when the road changes, and it will, adjust the route, not the destination. D stands for deploy. And this is the one that changes everything. Deploy. And when I say deploy, I mean execute. I mean move. I mean stop planning and start doing the thing. Because deployment is not just a military word. It is a CEO word. It is what separates the nurse who has the vision from the nurse who has results. Once you have the belief, the legacy, the focus, the willingness to evolve, and the navigation, you have to deploy. You have to execute on what you know. Trey gets deployed behind the camera. OJ gets deployed behind the lens. Brianna gets deployed in the makeup chair. Your clients get deployed inside the frameworks. Your capital gets deployed into real estate. Deployment is the moment the vision becomes visible. It is the moment the idea leaves your head and enters the world. You can believe all day. You can plan all quarter. You can have a vision board party. But until you deploy, until you actually execute and move, nothing changes. Nothing grows. Nothing closes. The contract does not sign itself. The client does not find you while you are still preparing. The portfolio does not build while you are still thinking about it. Deploy means you decide that today is the day you start rehearsing and start performing. Faith without works is dead. That's James 2:7. Believe it, then move like you believe it. When you apply blend in your life, in your real estate investing, in your business, what changes is the relationship between your fear and your forward motion. The blend fear does not disappear, but it stops driving. Let's make this practical, because I am not here to move you emotionally without equipping you. Here are your action steps this week, straight from the blend framework. Step 1, identify your blend. What are you afraid to put together? What 2 parts of your life are you keeping separate because you think the blend will break something? Write it down, name the blend fear, because the thing you can name, you can face, and the thing that you can face, you can move through. Step number 2, audit your inner circle. This is super, super important. Your inner circle matters more than your strategy, more than your framework, more than your next launch. The people closest to you will either hold you back or push you forward. And most of the time, they are doing one or the other without even knowing it. So I need you to do something this week. Very uncomfortable. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time with, the ones you call when something happens, the ones in your group chat, the ones at your dinner table, and ask yourself one honest question. Are these people moving me forward towards something, or are they standing still? Because here's the truth that will cost me some listeners, but I'm going to say it anyway. The people who have been your friends for 20 years can be the very ones stopping you from growing. Longevity is not loyalty. History is not alignment. Just because someone has been in your life for a long time does not mean they belong in the next chapter. Some of your closest people are comfortable with the old version of you. They liked you better before the business, before the confidence, before you started charging what you were worth, before you stopped shrinking yourself to keep the peace. And every time you step into something bigger, they get quiet, or they get critical, or they remind you of where you came from in a way that is designed to keep you there. That is not friendship. That is a ceiling wearing a familiar face. So audit them. Be honest with yourself about who is adding to your vision and who is subtracting from it, and then move accordingly. You do not have to make an announcement. You do not have to have a confrontation, but you do have to be intentional about who gets access to you while you are building. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your becoming. Protect the vision, audit your circle, move accordingly. Step 3, name one legacy asset. What are you building that lives beyond the transaction? Maybe it's a real estate investment. Maybe it's a program you create that nurses will use for the next 10 years. Maybe it's a family culture that your grandchildren will carry. Name it, write it down, put it on the wall. Step number 4, identify one family firm role. Who is in your immediate world who has a skill that could support your business? I don't care if it's a teenager who is good with video, or your spouse who keeps the best notes, or your daughter who has been doing makeup for fun since she was 12. Identify one person, one gift, one role, then deploy them. And step number 5, come be in the room with us live. When you get into a room with nurses who are already building 6- and 7-figure businesses, something shifts. You stop wondering if it's possible. You start asking how fast. That room exists. We are holding it. And the next one is comment. Comment the word blend below, and we will send you over the details to our next live training. Let me bring this all the way home. Blend, believe, legacy, evolve, navigate, deploy. 11 years ago, I looked at Aura and I said yes. And we had one grandchild between us and a whole lot of blend fear and no idea what the next 10 years were going to look like. We just knew we were choosing each other. We knew we were moving forward, and we held on to that through the blending and the building and the growing and the investing and the traveling and every single hard conversation that came with it. The truth is, today we have 5 children who are extraordinary. We have 8 grandchildren that fill every room with a kind of joy that I cannot manufacture on a stage. We have a bonus daughter and a bonus grandson. We travel the world. We invest in real estate. We build businesses. We do all of it together. And the family team, Trey behind the camera, OJ with the lens, Brianna with the brush, making sure I walk into every room looking like exactly who I am. That is not just a cute story. That is legacy operating in real time. I'm telling you this with all my heart. The blend fear is a lie. The thing that you are most afraid to put together is often the one thing, once you put it together, becomes the most powerful asset you own. And if you are listening to this right now, maybe you are in a marriage you are trying to protect while building a business. Maybe you are trying to blend a family and you're scared it won't hold. Maybe you are looking at real estate or a second income stream and you are not sure the blend of investor and CEO makes sense for you. I want you to hear me. You do not have to choose between a great life and a great business. I am the evidence. My family is the evidence. I want to close with this because somebody in the audience needs to hear it today. Aura never asked me to be less. He never asked me to shrink. He showed up and kept showing up. That kind of partnership in marriage, in business, in your inner circle is what makes legacy possible. That is what puts 8 grandchildren and 5 children in a room who all love each other. That is what puts your name on stages and in contracts and on properties you own. Thank you for spending this time with me today. And if this episode hit differently, if you felt something shift, please share it. Tag the person who is your aura. Tag the person who needs to hear that blend is not the obstacle, it's the strategy. Drop a comment and tell me, what did you start with? What do you have now? Because every one of you started somewhere. Drop that story. I want to read it. Subscribe if you haven't already. We are in here every week building, teaching, and pressing forward. And y'all, the next episode is going to reframe the way that you think about your positioning in the marketplace in a way that is going to hit you somewhere deep. You don't want to miss it. I am Dr. V, and we are always, always moving forward. Comment blend, and we'll send you over the details to our next live training. See you next time.